Capital Discussions OptionVue Education webinar series. I'm Tom Nunemaker with our guest Len Yates from OptionVue. Before we get started, a quick disclaimer: the Capital Discussions is not a broker-dealer or an investment advisor. This presentation is for educational purposes only. We don't know your situation and have no way of knowing what level of risk is appropriate. We're not making any specific trade recommendations. The risk of loss in trading options can be substantial, so please be aware of all of your risks prior to placing any trades. Hypothetical computer-simulated trades are believed to be accurately represented. However, actual profit or loss may vary due to market factors such as liquidity, slippage, and commissions. And this is for educational purposes only. So with that, welcome back, Len. It's been a few months, but I know you've been pretty busy at OptionVue recoding things and tweaking the software and making it better. So a big thank you for all the work you're doing.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And yes, I've been pretty busy. I've appreciated the contact that I've had with users, and I think it increased after the mini crisis we had with the models when we were working to improve them and found that they didn't suit the John Locke community very well. But you know, we're past that, and hopefully with better communications from now on, we'll be more in touch with what our customers are needing and wanting. So now I might need Jim's help in figuring out how to share. Oh, share my screen. Here it is. Share monitor 1. As soon as I get this working, then we can get started.
Yep, I see your screen, Len.
Okay, you should see an OptionVue quotes display now.
I do.
And I want to start out by using QuoteVue. Let's be with QuoteVue here. Okay. Well, I thought I would discuss some of the cool features in the software, some of which are brand new, and some have been there for a while, but not everyone may know about them, so I'd like to go over them. With this latest release, there's a portfolio margin, and let me show you how to switch that on. For any particular account that you want to switch it on for, you would need to go into the info and then click the securities margins button. And here's the new checkbox at the bottom of the screen. Just check this and the program will use portfolio margining. And the difference that you will see is mainly in status, where the margin requirements field I'm pointing at right now, that will be totally computed by the new model that will include your entire portfolio, including the mix of assets you're involved in, combined in just the way that is prescribed by the exchanges. So that's new. And if you're looking in a matrix, what's matrix we have a position in? With that portfolio margining checked, the margin requirements here will also be computed according to portfolio margining, although you need to keep in mind that it only has in view your position in this asset. So it's not doing the true portfolio margining thing, which is to consider your entire portfolio. In the matrix, this requirement is just considering this asset. And if you were to analyze the margin requirements that you see along the bottom line here, those are also computed by portfolio margining. So that's there. So moving along. In the T-log, let's open a T-log. The next feature I want to point out is, I don't know how often you guys open up this extra section right here, but you just click this button and you can narrow down the field of transactions that you're looking at. For example, you can choose a particular asset. If I hit the delete button and clear this, we're now looking at all the trades that I've ever done in this account, okay, which is several hundred. But if you want to focus in on one particular asset, then you can type the symbol here, and now you're looking at trades only in the RET, for example. And you can narrow it down based on strategy as well and based on class. We're going to talk more about class in just a few minutes. You can even check this show cash transactions only to narrow it down to just the cash transactions you've made. That's pretty useful. And then, of course, you can narrow the period down from a certain date to another date. Whatever you put in here to qualify the transactions stops happening when you click this up thing. It goes right back to showing all transactions. And then when you click it again, it will go back to showing the narrowed down field. So that's how that works. And one thing that's new, let me have the Russell matrix open while I have the log open. If we do this again, you'll see that there's this little ellipsis button that's here now. And if you click it, it instantly brings in the symbol represented by the matrix or price chart that's open underneath. In this case, it's going to be the Russell again. We already did that. So here, let's just to illustrate this, I'll open the log again. This will be blank. I'll click this, and it brings in the Russell. So that's if you have any matrix or price chart open, that little ellipsis is there, and you can quickly focus in on the trades that you've made in just this one asset. Okay, so another thing is several of the price chart features can be switched on and off by default now. Let's go into File Preferences and under the price chart. 4 of these are new. This one's not new, but if you always like to look at your charts in candlesticks, then check this. And if you always like to see earnings markers on, then have this checked. And if you have those checked, then even if you close OptionVue and reopen it, it remembers your preferences, and you'll be seeing the price chart the way you like it without having to switch that on after you've opened OptionVue, okay? So that's there. And now, oh yes, also new is that you can change the columns in each of the quotes display tabs independently. I've already started to do that. For example, here on my main page, I do not have an earnings notes column because I don't need it. But if I switch to another of my tabs, then in this screen, there's a big earnings notes field that I've put in here. And whatever you do to change your columns, whatever I'm doing to change my columns in this particular tab, it will not affect anything else in the other tabs. So those are independent now. That was a request from our users, I don't know, a year or two ago. So I've got a deep list. I've got a lot of things that I still need to, give my attention to. But those were ideas that came from our customers, and I'm glad to have finally gotten those done. Now, some other kind of interesting things I'd like to show you is in a matrix. Let's get a matrix open here. And I'd like you to see that if you need to quickly orient a section to, the at the money strike, you can click on it. So you just click there. Wherever I click here in the strikes area, it's going to make that the center if it can. Now it cannot do it down here because there apparently are no more strikes defined above 1090 right now. But whenever it can, it will orient right where you click. So that can be handy. Now I think most of you know about probably the position locator buttons. That's what this is. And when I click it, it scoots to try to bring every position you have into view. So that's there. And maybe, I don't know if you know this, but you can shift this divider between the calls and puts. I've got a couple of example John Locke type positions in here with these butterflies. And these are fictitious. I'm not actually doing this right now, but I put these trades in for illustrative purposes with my audience in mind. And you would probably enjoy shifting this divider bar upward because most of your positions are in puts, so why not? Now, another thing that you can do, I don't know if you know this, but you can click on a header, and now with the purposes of all the numbers in the lower section, we're only looking at the March options now. If I click that header again, it goes away, and now we're considering all the positions again. So you can narrow it down to a single expiration just by clicking on the header like this. If I click on this one that has no positions, then not surprisingly, they all go to zeros. Okay. Let's see my notes here. And then there's the R code selector, which is really new. And let's go over that for a few minutes. Right now, I've got a position A and a position B. Let me just show you in the T-log that I've opened these two butterflies. One is here, this position A, and the other is this position B here. So I've coded these with the R codes as being A and B. And in the matrix, if I choose position B, then of course it shows only that one. And if I choose A alone, then it does that. There's a quicker way to do this, though. If you just have your cursor located anywhere in the screen and you press the letter A, then it'll choose position A. If you click B, then it's immediately showing position B. So I wanted you to know that it can be quickly changed like this: A, B, A, B. You can choose just by pressing the single letter key on your keyboard. And of course, there's this all label. If you click that, then all are checked, and then the none label appears. You can click that, so you can go back and forth between all and none, and whatever you choose, then you can click apply to apply it. And I want you to see that if you click this field to open up the drop down with the check boxes, you can then click right here again to get rid of it. Okay, so bring it up. You can bring it up and click this place right here, and you can make that go back to normal. Now, for illustrative purposes, I set up something interesting in another account. It's the sample account. In the sample account, I've got positions 1 and A. Let's look at them in the log. Not much in here. I've got a butterfly coded with a 1, and I've got a vertical spread coded with an A. Okay? And I want you to see what happens when we switch back and forth between accounts. With everything, all your positions currently selected here, and you switch to the other account, the one with A and B positions, it will automatically show both A and B. Now, this is possibly working better than what you have because Tom pointed out a problem to me on Friday, and I already worked on it. So mine is, you need to know that in switching accounts, you may need to deliberately select all to be sure you're looking at all your positions. Because the logic is just a little off in yours, and it needed to be improved. I already worked on it. And I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, we'll put out another release this week that fixes this and one other problem, and not make you wait for 2, 3, 4 weeks to see this improvement. So, but I want you to, there's a little bit more I wanted to show you. I want to show you that if you choose A only, I want to choose A only. And then you switch to this other account, which does have an A position, that the program will have this be A and not switch to all. The reason that it's like this is because it suits my trading style, and it may suit others as well. I have 3 accounts that I trade, and I always do the same trade in each account. So if I set up a position A in one account, I'm going to set up a position A just like it in my other 2 accounts also. And then I come along and I do another position. I'll add another position, and I'll call it B. And I'll go through all of my accounts and have another position B added to them. So, and I may even go to C, D, and E. There's ways that I trade the earnings, and I have sometimes all the way up to 5 positions. And when I switch between accounts, and I was looking at account. I was looking in one account. I was looking at position A, and I switched to another account. I like it showing me position A in that account. So at the same time, I realized that maybe not all customers would like it working that way. And so I'm thinking of putting in the checkbox in the preferences area to make it so whenever you switch accounts, it just, no matter what, it just always switches to all and shows all. And pretty sure I'm probably going to put that in. But right now, that's the way I intended. This is the way I intended it to work, and it's working this way. Now, if I choose one, and then I switch to that other account, since there is no one position in this other account, it will automatically now go to all. So it's got some logic to figure out, what you probably intended here. So, yeah. Don't know if I need to say anything more about this. It's such a new feature, and it's causing ripple effects and having me change more things, and that's okay. But it's kind of pushing me to make more changes. But I hope that you'll start finding it useful. And so let's see now.
I use it all that was a good improvement to the program.
Yeah, I think it might have been Kevin Lee that spearheaded that idea, but I'm sure others wanted it also. So I appreciate the input, and I'm glad to have put this in. Now, I'd like to talk about account management here. There's this Russell position I've got open right now, as you can see in the matrix. From the beginning, OptionVue was designed with the idea that one account holds all the trades that you ever make in one particular brokerage account. And that's the way most of our customers are using it. It's the way I use it. I realize that John Locke people have taken a different path, and they like to create a separate new account for each campaign. And I'm not going to try to talk you out of that, but I just want to show you a few things about doing accounts the way that we originally intended, because I think you need to see this. You need to see some of this. This particular account, let's narrow the transactions down to just Russell. You can see that I've coded this one campaign that was started, and by the way, these are fictitious transactions. I have not really started doing any of the John Locke strategies, but I'm getting very close. I'm getting very close to giving it a try. But I put these in here today just for illustrative purposes. And we've got a campaign A that's in the March options, and a campaign B that was open in the April options later. Now, if you ever make a modification, an adjustment, then you should code it the same way. Okay, let's roll this leg. Okay, we're all set to roll it. I'll hit convert, and then we'll go to the log and make it so this has an A also. Okay, so this campaign is A from the beginning, and you should probably keep using A all the way through. That's consistent with the way the program works. And you'll notice that in the log, there previously was a position A way back about a year ago, and that one does not interfere with the newest one because the two positions never overlapped in time. And that makes the letter A reusable. Every one of these letters is reusable once the position has been completely closed. Okay? So this is the way that we recommend using it. And, okay, so what I want to do now is show you some of the benefits of keeping all your keeping track of all your trades in one account. One is that you get to look at your performance graph and see how your account value has gone up and down over time. And this is showing about approximately a year's time, but you can show the entire history of your account if you want. And this is how the account value has gone over time. then another thing is performance analysis. If you code your trades, and I'll show you how in a minute, if you code your trades, then this is a great way to step back and have a look at how you're doing, okay, and all the kinds of trades that you do. I do several different kinds of trades. Okay, these first 6 categories here all have to do with earnings. And a couple of these are not familiar to you. I'm not going to go into them right now, but suffice it to say that free money plays are not that free. They're a lot of work, actually, and the jump plays too. But I've got these kinds of trades that have to do with earnings where I found them to be profitable, and I don't have time to go into them today exactly what they are. And in fact, I don't know that I ever can because they're so unscalable. I haven't. Well, yeah. If I let the word out on exactly how to do these, well, for one thing, it would take a big course to teach you, because it's like teaching a person how to fish. It would take several lots of sessions. That's one thing, and the other thing is it's not scalable. So I really don't want to share it. That's to be honest with you. But these first categories are in earnings plays, and then comes the VXX, and that it's been losing money lately, and it might continue to be treacherous for the rest of this year, because I'm starting to realize something. I think the condition that the market's in right now is bad for the VXX trading, because the market, it seems to me, is rolling over and getting ready to take a dive. Macmillan put out an excellent article last time, I think it was last week, where he said this year is starting out like 2008 started out, and who knows, maybe it will play out similarly. I do know this, that the market has advanced for several years, and now it's flattened out, and that's exactly what happened back in 05 to 08. It went up for several years, and then it started to turn, and then at the end of 08, we all know what happened. So the VXX trading might not be good until it goes in for that really big dive. And that would be good for VXX trading. And then the recovery from that would also be good for VXX trading. Right now I've got a VXX position on, but I'm being very, very careful with it. I'm going to take it off if it starts to go the wrong way. Spec trading is speculative, and this is an Achilles heel for me. I don't know why I like to gamble so much, but I've got this tendency to look at a chart and say, oh, I know what's going to happen next in the near term, put on a position, and dang, it's just a money sink. And I have decided I just got to stop this. And what I'd like to replace it with, I believe, is, M3 or one of other John Locke's other strategies. And then we've got M3 here, which, like I told you, is fictitious trading, but I just wanted to show you how useful and interesting this performance analysis is, and it really only works if you put all your trades into one account. Okay, now, John Locke people, they don't do all these kinds of trading, maybe, but I do know that within the John Locke system, there are about 3 or 4 different methods. There's the M3, right, and there's a rock, and there's bearish butterfly, and 1 or 2 others. So what you could do to make good use of this feature of the program would be to start coding your trades. Let me show you how that would be done. You need to go into the log, and we're talking about class here. We're talking about classification. You would click this button here, Manage Custom Classifications, and you just make up names. You make up names for these classifications. So, like with the bearish butterfly, might call it bear, and it's probably good to keep these names short. So, bear butter like this. Add that. Now that I've added that, then whenever you do this drop down, there it is as an available choice. Okay? So you would need to regularly update the class, just like I have here. I've classified this trade as speculative, this one as a jump, and so on. And if you put in all your classifications like this, then this report will work for you. Okay, you'd have your different classes here, and that way you could see what's working and what's not over a period of time. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you in the area of account record keeping. I do want to help people who still insist on, making a separate account for every campaign. If you insist on doing that, then, well, two things. One is I'd really like to go with this idea of a trade ID field. So that would be a new field that would be inserted here in the log. I would insert it somewhere over here on the right, a trade ID. And you could type in the trade ID that goes with each trade. And then throughout the program, including here in the matrix, you could select the trade by name like that. So that's something I want to look at pursuing in the next few weeks. And otherwise, I do want to make it so the R code selector here and everything else works well for those who open a separate account per campaign. But I just wanted to show you what it's like if you do pile up all your trades into a single account. It works great. Okay, now let's talk about UI. That's been a topic of discussion for a long time, and certainly in the forum. There's one forum thread that I've been involved with quite a bit here for the last few weeks. Now, I have to tell you, I don't have time to go in and look at it every day, but I try to once a week. I didn't get to it last week, but I was thinking that this afternoon, after we're finished with this call, I would go in and get caught up with that. I'm just so intensely involved with the programming that I think once a week is about all I can do. But I've seen your suggestions in there, and I've collected them. And under UI, I see two categories. There are UI suggestions from you that are functional, like little items that you can add here and there to make your life easier. And then there are UI items that have to do with look and feel. And in the area of the functional items, I can understand those completely and drop them into my list. In the area of look and feel, I do want to do something. But it's still a little vague to me what it is that needs to be done. I've put out questions repeatedly, sometimes just to individuals by email. And one will say, yeah, the thing is you need to put in a ribbon style menu, okay? And another one will say the most important thing is give it a black skin, reverse the colors and make it a black skin. And another idea would be to give it the framed approach instead of the floating windows approach. And I'm talking about something like Thinkorswim, where you've got a section of the program on the left that shows you quotes, and then along the top you've got a permanent section, and then you've got that big area that's left, and it goes by tabs. O&E is like that also. I know it is. So is that what we need to do? I'm not sure. I never really got anyone to say, yeah, that's the thing that needs to be done. So I'm not sure about that. All my career in this company, I've always thought that functionality is more important than looks. But still, I realize that looks are important. So I do have it on my list to take a look at doing a ribbon-style menu and replacing all that's along the top right now with that ribbon. And if I can do that without making anything more difficult, without making anything cost more mouse clicks, then I'm going to do that, because I do think it's important to give brand new users, people who are doing our trial, seeing it for the first time, a good first impression. I don't want it to look old. So there's that. I have to tell you that the idea of reversing out the colors and going with the black skin would be a lot of work. And I think it would upset some of our customers who like the color scheme the way it is now. So that one's kind of questionable. I don't know if that would do anything to improve our income here at the company, which does need to be improved. We're kind of hurting right now because with the market being the way it is, we've got some customers who have said, I'm just not trading right now. I'm waiting this out. And when they do that, they say, well, I'm not going to renew right now. So they don't renew their subscription until they get started again. So there's that. Plus maybe still a little bit of fallout from the changes to the model back in the fall. But yeah, I don't know if people realize how small of a company we are. We've just got 8 people here on staff. I'm the only programmer. And we had a time in our past when we were prosperous. It was back in 06 and 07. And that's when our mentoring program was going gangbusters. So we were doing a lot of business then. But the economic crisis in 08 hit us hard. We had to cut back. And ever since then, we've been just getting by. And that's been true of most of our existence. So I saw something on the forum once saying, "Oh, OptionVue is a cash cow." Well, I laughed out loud. I wished it was, but it really isn't. And so that's why we have to pay such close attention to our customers, because we can't afford to lose any of them. And we appreciate your support. So, I thought of an analogy. It's kind of like if you were in a small town. Let's say you were in a city of 10,000, and it had 2 hardware stores. Okay, one of them's OptionVue, the other one's also starts with an O. And then, so when you have your hardware needs, you like to try to go to the one close by, the hardware close by, rather than driving 20 miles over to a place where there's a Home Depot. Okay, because for one thing, the convenience, and the other thing is you just want to support this local guy, right? You go in to talk to him, you've got something you need a part, and he says, well, I don't have that right now, but I'll try to get it for you. Well, that's the kind of shop we are, and that's the kind of relationship that we're looking for, okay, kind of a partnership, okay? And I just want you guys to know that we need you. So that's my little fireside chat. Okay, so now let's move on to one more thing. I want to talk about the TOS interface. I'm going to switch my program to TOS. This has been something that has generated some negativity. I've seen a lot of comments about it. I've read a lot of comments, and I know something needs to be done. But let's just discuss this for a minute. I'm going to open the SPX matrix. We're now getting our quotes from Thinkorswim. And there are 2 things about this that kind of bug people. I think the minor one is that when you start typing in a field, it can lose your first character. I'm trying to see if I can get it to happen. I'm just trying to see if... It hasn't happened for me yet, but a few minutes ago, before this call, I was able to make it happen once. But that's been made better ever since I worked on it, I don't know, a year and a half ago. The bigger problem is this, that the program can only get up to 150 quotes at a time from Thinkorswim. If you open this window, you can see a symbol limit right now. It's 150. You can increase this, but it can run into problems if you do so. So we don't recommend that you increase this. So what happens is when you open a matrix, the program considers these options that are in view to be the highest priority and goes after them first. And it will ask Thinkorswim for quotes on the first 150 in a batch of 150 symbols. And then it has to sit there waiting for a response. I think it may wait for about 5 seconds, collecting the responses. And then it tells Thinkorswim, okay, now never mind those symbols, wipe those clean. Now here's the next 150. And so it has to rotate through batches like that. And if your matrix is big, like the SPX matrix is right now, with its, looking at the symbols here, I'd say it's about 1,200 symbols that we've got defined right now in the SPX. Then it takes a while to come back around to the options you care about. And that's why it's important for you to consider narrowing down the number of options involved. And I'll show you 3 ways of doing that. One is just go with the strike interval that matters to you. I don't know, maybe 25-point strike intervals are fine with you. If you'll do that, then that eliminates a great many options from consideration. And it looks like these gaps are maybe a little too much, so it might be better to go with 10-point intervals. But that's idea number 1. Idea number 2 is maybe you're not interested in the expirations that are way out here. Maybe this June expiration with 116 days to go and this September expiration with 207 days to go are not of interest to you. We'll go into define and cut down on the number of expirations. Okay, so now the farthest out expiration is this May with 88 to go. And now we've cut down even more on the symbol count. And then the third way would be the extents. Okay, now I've already got this on small and moderate, so, but I know in the John Locke community the tendency is to go with large, but realistically, you don't need a large extent to the in the money. And I strongly recommend reducing the in the money extent at least down to moderate, okay? If not going all the way to small. Although I realize that you're usually interested in an in the money call, aren't you? So let me show you something. Once you've got your in the money call position on, let's convert this trade. Once that's on, if you now reduce the extent, it already was reduced. Okay, hold on. To illustrate this, I need to increase this. And let's throw away that trade. Okay. Thinkorswim took a moment to come around to these options. So let's say we've got a long position in one of these calls, convert the trade. Now, if I reduce the extent in the money calls, it will keep that strike. Okay, once you've got a position in it, it will not throw that strike away. So those are some tips for you on dealing with Thinkorswim. And as far as Thinkorswim improvements, what I'd like to do real soon, let me say by spring, is take a good hard look at this RTD interface type that's out there and see whether I can reprogram the interface using RTD instead of DDE. And then maybe things will be a lot better. No promises, though. I can't promise you that I can use, I may find that I can't use RTD. I don't know, for whatever reason. So, but I definitely want to have a look at that. Meanwhile, please understand that I have done everything I possibly can to make the Thinkorswim interface work, and I can't make it work any better than it is now with the DDE. And it is, after all, free. We put it in the program. We don't charge anything extra for it, and it's to help you get free quotes. So now, if you want the ultimate experience, get QuoteVue, because when you switch to QuoteVue, everything is updating really fast. So QuoteVue is the ultimate experience. You'd be helping yourself if you got it, and helping us. Okay, I think that's about it. Tom, did you see any questions that stood out to you as being good questions that you'd like to try on me?
Yeah, there's a couple. John Porter mentioned, please do not do the color change. And let's see, Rick Rogers asked about the number expense. What about the data points for the skew curve? That's a good question.
Well, definitely the deep in the monies are not helping you your skew curve at all. So I'm going to say maybe moderate is needed, maybe small is needed. I don't know which, but try small. Why don't you try small and see how it behaves for you? My guess is it will probably behave just fine.
Let's see what else. Andrew Stanton said there was I guess with the you call them the R column selectors in the matrix. He said, quote, to correct new P&L problem with the new version 785, open reports and click on combine tab and then close reports. Are you aware of that?
I'm not sure if that's been reported yet. I would encourage you to email that one in to me. I'll definitely have a look at it.
Would you prefer people to send it to feedback@optionvue.com or direct to you?
Well, actually, feedback is best. Jim will get to see it first then, and he may try out recreating it first himself, and then he can send it along to me with maybe some amplified instructions. So it's probably good if Jim sees them first.
Okay. Let's see. I think that's it for the questions. I don't really see any other ones. There was one talking about the P&L, but again, that's probably something we need to look at offline. I don't think it'll be solved here. We did have a few people join late. Can you just go over, I know you showed how to switch on the portfolio margin. Can you just cover that again briefly? Sure,
no problem. You would need to click the info button that I'm got my cursor over right now. And then with this form open, you need to click on securities margins. And here's the new checkbox right at the bottom here. With this box checked, none of these numbers up above apply. Okay, they're just overridden completely, as the portfolio margining approach is a totally different approach. All right. Oh, and then I also showed that then with that selected, the margin requirements that's displayed in the status is computed using that new approach, the portfolio margin.
That's kind of an exciting change. I know I've personally been wishing for that for quite a while, so I'm happy to see that line. That's great.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm not sure how many of our customers needed that, but I'm sure it was a good number, so yeah, glad to do it.
All right, well, it looks like we're out of questions, and unless there's anything else you want to go over or just tell people about, then we can wrap this up.
I think that's it for now. I will say once again, thank you for the input, and I've appreciated the interaction. I'll get into that forum again, Tom, and see if there's anything new that I can respond to. But meanwhile, I have a pretty deep stack of items to work on, and we'll get to them. And we'll get to that RTD thing, and I'm going to have a look at the, as I said, the ribbon-style menu, see if we can make one of those work well.
Great. And one last thing before we go, just the personal plug on the quote view. I used IB quotes for a long time, and like you said, it cycles through like 100, 200 at a time versus quote view. It updates the whole matrix. So I think your Greeks are a little bit more accurate, a little quicker using quote view, and I've personally found it to be more responsive. So you're right, it is a little bit better data feed for OptionVue.
Right. Yeah. If you want to see OptionVue behaving the way OptionVue was designed to behave, get quote view.
Yep.
Because, the TOS thing, the IB thing, we were happy to put those in for people so they can get their quotes free, but I mean, if you're managing a decent amount of money with the program, you need to have it performing at its best. That's what I think.
Yeah, I've been really happy with it. So thanks again, and we'll have another one of these pretty soon. Let's see, let me check the calendar for the next OptionVue Education. I know this one got slipped a little bit. Let's see, OptionVue. Sure. So the next one will be March 21st with Jeff Plimpton. So until then, check the forum, send feedback to feedback@optionvue.com. And again, Len, thanks very much for taking your time and sharing with us and answering questions.
Certainly. I appreciate it too.
All right, thanks everyone. We will see you next time.
All right, bye.